Good Monday morning, everybody, and it is the first day of February, 2-1. And interestingly enough, today we are going to finish up chapter 21 in Luke 2-1. Is there something prophetic about that? Maybe so, hey, but probably not. Any rate, it is February 1st, and we are going to end up the 21st chapter of Luke, so take that for what you will. We're continuing on. We'll finish up this bit that we look at and sometimes call the little apocalypse version of it. Though usually that's talked about in Mark's, but all three of the synoptics have these end times talking. And so we're going to finish that up today, and then things are going to really start to heat up. We need to bear in mind what we are in the middle of, where we are in the last week of Jesus' life. So this is what's going on. It's the last days. And so he is, getting ready. Things start to heat up as we move into chapter 22 and beyond. So we are going to be looking at this very short little parable today, and then exhortation, I can't talk. Forgive me, it's Monday. Exhortation to watch is what the second section is called. But we're going to be looking at verses 29 to 38. So we're going to finish the 21st chapter today. So Luke chapter 21, 29 to 38. Let's take a look at it. Then he told them a parable. Look at the fig tree and all the trees. As soon as they sprout leaves, you can see for yourselves and know that summer is already near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that the kingdom of God is near. I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. Be on guard so that your hearts are not weighed down with dissipation and drunkenness and the worries of this life, and that day does not catch you unexpectedly, like a trap, for it will come upon all who live on the face of the whole earth. Be alert at all times, praying that you may have the strength to escape all these things that will take place and to stand before the Son of Man. Every day he was teaching in the temple, and at night he would go out and spend the night on the Mount of Olives, as it was called, and all the people would get up early in the morning to listen to him in the temple. Okay, well, one of the things we take away from this is we realize and we learn that Jesus was a morning person. So, hey, what do we think of that? For us that are not necessarily morning people, we're rats. But at any rate, Jesus is staying on the Mount of Olives. We talked about that, where the tombs are at today. There were tombs there then. There were tombs there that were 1,000 years old at the time of Jesus' ministry. So it's a very ancient graveyard that's there, right outside the city on the Mount of Olives. And that's where Jesus was spending the night, up there. Anyway, so let's take a look at this. We have this, again, this very short kind of staccato, if you will, parable about the fig tree. And it's warning that when you see these things, you know that something's coming. When we see the trees start to bud out, we know that spring is on the way. Summer will be here soon. The trees are starting to leaf out, and some years it's kind of surprising because there's still some snow and ice around, and all of a sudden you start seeing buds and things. You know that things are about to change, and that's kind of what he's telling you about. As you see these signs, you know that things are going to change. Now, though, in this timeline, it's springtime. We know that it's days and weeks at the most that it's away. We don't know that timeline in the end times preaching here. But what he's exhorting them is that to be on their guard. The dissipation. I can't talk today. Forgive me. It must be Monday or something. That word means to be overly indulgent in sensual things. Really. And so we don't want to be out there being drunkenness and overindulgence in earthly things and paying no attention to our relationship to God. Rather, we don't let the worries of this world get in the way of our relationship with God. We don't do that. We don't let the pleasures of this world also get in the way of our relationship with God. We need to be working on that, praying and staying and focus on knowing that God will come again, whether it's the end times or whether it's our own demise, because these bodies, as I've mentioned in sermons lately, I don't think I have mentioned that in here, but these human bodies of ours, they wear out and they decay and they die, and we not designed to be here forever. And so whether the Lord comes first or whether we pass away, we need to be prepared to meet our Maker. We need to be ready for that judgment day, no matter what. It's a coming. So we can see those end times coming as we get older. We watch our grandparents and our parents age, and as we age, we see those same things happening in our lives, in our bodies, and in our abilities. So we need to be watching out. It's like the leaves on the trees. So there is some crossover there. One thing that I do think gets missed in this sometimes is that we start focusing so much on the prophecy of it, whether it be about the fall of Jerusalem or the second coming, and we forget about where we're at. We're in the middle of the last week of Jesus' life. And so I think some of this is a foreboding, like it's coming. You see these things that are going on around us now, the way the scribes and the Pharisees and the priests and the Romans are treating us and watching us and getting prepared. We need to be on our guard because Jesus' end time is coming. Jesus is going to be arrested soon and executed, and then we have the whole resurrection and all that. We know the end of the story, but we'll get there. So we need to bear in mind that there's really a third layer, I think, in this whole thing that oftentimes gets missed, and we forget about it because we're so focused. We tend to focus on the really dramatic. People like drama, don't we? So that end time, we really focus on that thing because it's the great drama. That's the build up to the crescendo of the story. And we need to remember where he's at in this week, and it's also the history of Jerusalem and the fall of Jerusalem in 70, and as we've talked about. So one of the strange things in here is where he says in 32, truly I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all things have taken place. That one's a difficult one because obviously we know that nobody that was listening to Jesus is still breathing air. But I don't know. We can perhaps look at that and say, well, they passed away. They're passed into the spirit realm. Have they truly passed away? Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. That's the promise of the timelessness of the gospel, the timelessness of the message of Jesus. It goes from this reality and beyond. So with that, I think I'm going to cut you off today, and we're going to come back tomorrow. We're going to jump into chapter 22, and like I said, things start to speed up a bit as we go along. So please have a wonderful day, and as I say, be a blessing to someone today. Have a blessed week. Looks like we could have some weather again come Thursday, so get ready for that. Make sure you go get your eggs and your milk and your bread. So, all right, see you later. Bye-bye.